What is going on, everybody? Casey here, Virginia Game Day, checking in. What a morning to be a Wahoo. What a morning to be a Virginia Cavaliers fan. UVA, of course, with a big monster road win at Louisville yesterday, wire to wire victory. And that game was a lot of things all in one. First of all, another big road test. We've passed all our check marks so far with road games. We won at Texas, blowout fashion, sent their fans home early. Blew out NC State, currently top 25 Ken Palm. And then last night, going into Louisville, wire to wire, up 14 nothing to start, win by 9. But, it got close at times, but that was a very convincing win. And we sent their fans home pretty early as well. Additionally, a clash with a former Wahoo who is beloved, Isaac McKneely, took care of business there. And then I saw a cool Instagram post from Barstool UVA shout out about the former Wahoos that we've played so far. Of course, that being Saunders, Maryland, took care of business. Day Day, Cal, took care of business. And last night, iMac, the most beloved of the group so far, took care of business. Although he got the green light, he was able to shoot as much as he wanted. He scored 21, but he shot 14 threes. There was a couple times where I thought he was going to get going, and he really never did. He couldn't kind of string the three balls together, but he played well. He played the best of anyone on their squad, besides maybe one of their big guys had a pretty decent game. It was also the return of Jakari White. We've kind of missed him, although we've been winning. You kind of can feel his absence. They plugged a little bit with Gertrude, who I love and I want to succeed, but I just don't know if the minutes are going to be there for him this year. Plugged a little bit with Gertrude, mixing in Devin Tillis a little bit more, who I'm going to talk about later, struggled last night. But having Jakari White back, he saved UVA at certain points this season. And Sam Lewis has certainly stepped up. But Jakari White was like the go-to guy for a little while there. So it was great to have him back last night, just kind of getting his feet wet. Just kind of getting his feet wet. Not a whole lot of, run, but just getting his feet back in the action. Overall, guys, 79 to 70 win. This team, unlike usual with UVA, so maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but the confidence that they have translates to my feelings towards the end of the games. Last night, I wasn't really worried that they were going to blow it. In past years, I feel like I may have had that worry. Like I kind of felt like something was missing. But even though they're not shooting great from the free throw line, I'm kind of confident they're going to hit their free throws, and I'm confident that they're not going to think that the moment's too big. And last night they held on tight and they play their best ball when the games are the biggest. It's been a constant throughout this season. I love the style that they play. I love crashing the offensive glass, and I love getting right into their defense. Sometimes we get the downside to that is some long rebounds. Sometimes they can get runouts, but when you're making your shots, we're shooting 37% from three, we're shooting 57% from two. When you make your shots, it makes it a whole lot easier to send the guys to crash the glass and to get into that press. So I really love Coach Odom. I love what he's doing. This is a different brand of Virginia basketball. All brands have been great, but this has been a an amazing start to a new chapter of UVA basketball. Okay, let's go through the stats from last night. This isn't technically a podcast, but the closest thing to a podcast that I've done this season so far. So let's go through the stats from last night. Starting five: DeRitter, Grunlow, Malik, Sam, and Dallin. Last night was a starters game. If you look at the plus minus across the board, it was a starters game. Every one of the bench players had a negative plus minus. Every one of the starters had a positive plus minus. A lot of that has to do with the 14-0 lead to start the game. But Testa Ritter, plus 20, plus minus, 8 boards, 9 points, 2 assists. They kept pointing to the fact that he wasn't having a great game last night, and he didn't. But when UVA needs to calm down, they throw the ball into Tess and let him slow things down and try and get himself a bucket. And he's a good passer too. So let him make a play from the post. I love when they do that, and it often works. Grunlow had 16 points. It could have been more. There were a couple little chippies at the basket that I thought he could have taken advantage of and didn't get to, but he had 16 and 7, three offensive boards, made his free throws, made a lot of big threes. The Twin Towers are, I love them. They pass well between each other as well. Malik Thomas, possibly his best game as a Wahoo. He was feeling it. Second half, started to pull back away. We were up 14, and then it got close, and then Malik single-handedly pretty much had that stretch there in the second half where he hit three-pointer, 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 and he finished 6 of 8 from three with a free throw, so 19 points total. Sam Lewis, 15 points, 4 of 10 from the field, had a pretty balanced game, a couple assists, a couple of rebounds. He as well had a big shot late second half, crossing across the paint, kind of a fade away off the back of the glass. And I think he meant to actually hit glass on that shot. So a lot of times, like Louisville had a shot last night where it was a deep three. That's definitely the dude didn't call bank, but it still went in. I think Sam cutting across the middle meant to use the glass on that one. And then Dallin Hall, the monster king of the rebounds last night. 32 minutes, 12 boards, 5 points, hit some big free throws, 4 assists. Dallin Hall was a really steadying presence last night. I see some Dallin Hall hate, and I think that it just has to do with like Chance being a local guy and a folk hero, and as amazing as Chance has been, but Dallin's played solid basketball this year. He's not perfect, but he plays pretty solid basketball. That does it for the starters, and then off the bench, UG had 3 points, a couple of big blocks, and the 3 points that he did have was a part of that 14-0 onslaught to start the game. Chance Mallory was off last night. He was 1 for 6, missed all his threes, but still made plays, still pressured. McKneely was in charge of guarding their best player and did a phenomenal job, especially down the stretch. 7 points in 22 minutes, hitting all 5 of his free throws. Jakari White getting his feet back in there, 11 minutes, 5 points, always ready to shoot it, and he got some shots up, 1 of 3 from deep, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. And then Devin Tillis, 10 minutes. Every time Tillis entered the game, they went right at him and got him in foul trouble. I It almost felt like it was part of the scouting report. Uh, Devin is good because he's kind of a tweener. He can guard some smaller guys, guard some bigger guys, but with hyper athletic players, he struggles because his lateral quickness isn't at, say, Jakari's level. And I'm just pointing that out. I love him. He's one of my favorite players, but that could be part of other team scouts to kind of go after him if he's in the game. All right, so next up, we got a little bit of a couple days off. We got SMU on the road on Saturday. SMU has played great basketball this year. That's a tournament team for sure. Andy Enfield, you know him from he brought Florida Gulf Coast to the Sweet 16, was at USC for a long time, Elite Eight run. He is now at SMU and doing good things. They took Duke on the road to the wire. They beat A&M, they beat Butler, they beat UNC. So SMU is a really good team, and in terms of Ken Pom, that's a game that they have us winning by a point. Looking at Ken Pom, there's only one game that they have us losing the rest of the way, and that's at Duke on February 28th. I hope it's all true. I hope it comes to be, but we got a couple back-to-back tough games here with SMU, and then a week later at home against North Carolina, which will certainly be our biggest home game of the year. So super excited for that, and shout out to the UVA girls who are also putting together a great season. I'm going to try and get out and see them soon. But UVA 15-2, moved up to 14 in Ken Pom, and I think they're knocking on the door of a top 4 NCAA tournament bracketology seed here pretty soon. So big shout out to the Hoogs, big shout out to Ryan Odom. Super pumped to keep delivering you guys content during this exciting season, and I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff.